Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kate. If you're new here, I own Poppy Jane. We are an online and in-store boutique located in St. Petersburg, Florida. Today's a work from home day and I am doing all of the planning for the second quarter of the year. Like, can you believe January, February, March, over? So it's officially April and I'm starting this quarter off with a bang. I have so many goals for myself, my business, and if you kind of had goals for the new year and already fell behind, one thing I would 100% suggest to you, and I am doing this myself, is to read the book, The 12-Week Year. So I read this book a while back and I also think I may have made a video on it a while ago as well. But this book had literally, like, I read it so long ago and it literally changed my viewpoint of how to get shit done, essentially. The whole purpose of the book is that a lot of people give themselves an entire year to get all of their goals accomplished, but by the time you get to March and you haven't really done anything yet and you're like, oh, well, I still have until December. And that sounds so far away. But in reality, you're just going to keep pushing it off further and further and not get as much accomplished because you have so much time to get it done. So the purpose of the 12-week year is to condense 12 months into 12 years. So if you write down what you want to accomplish this year, you can really accomplish that in 12 weeks. And if you can't accomplish it, like if it's physically impossible somehow, like if you want to lose 200 pounds or whatever, at least the purpose of the 12-week year is to at least make very big advances on those goals. So then you could then start another 12-week year after the 12 weeks. So I'm rereading this book right now and it is like my entire mindset going into the second quarter and going into April, May, and then most of June would be the 12 weeks as well. So like I said, I have a lot of business goals. I have a lot of personal goals and I kind of have my 12-week year plan set up, but I wanted to, one of my things in the 12-week year early on, because it's actually starting here in April right now, one of my first things that I want to get done in my 12-week year is to make a solid plan for the second quarter in my business, because I feel like with a plan, you just get so much more accomplished. So there are definitely things that fall through the cracks that I'm so guilty of when it comes to owning a boutique. I do not do a lot of events, and I do not think that that is something that you necessarily have to do. We did not do an event in the month of March and had like a very, very great month. I do think that events can help your business. I might do at least like 1 or 2 events in the fourth quarter, and I would like to plan ahead. I keep saying the fourth quarter, I mean the second quarter. By the way, I keep saying the fourth quarter and I'm like editing it to say the second quarter, but if I say the fourth quarter, you know that I mean the second quarter because I'm not talking about the fourth quarter right now. So I might do some events, and I just want to get things like Mother's Day on the schedule so that if we're doing any promotions and things like that, these things are on the schedule. If I need to order things for them, they're ready, and I just have a complete plan. So I truly don't have this plan yet. We're going to do it together and I'm going to walk you through my thought processes. One thing I always do, and this is what keeps me focused, I know a lot of people use Notion and things like that, but I really like using Google Sheets. You can access it on any computer and I don't know, it just makes sense in my head. So I have a Google Sheets that's called Manifest It Babe. It's supposed to be like a to-do list or a place where all my thoughts go, but I heard somewhere to write a manifest it list instead of a to-do list, and that way it's some stuff that you're manifesting, not like necessarily a to-do. So it's a Manifest It Babe, that's what it's called. And then at the bottom I have little different tabs. So I have YouTube videos that I plan on making. I have my exercise and like meal plans on one of them. I have just like a notes list on one. I have a to do or to manifest list on one of them. I have my bills that I keep track of on one of them. So I keep track of so many things on this Google Sheet, and now I'm going to make a plan for the fourth quarter on a brand new Google Sheet. Now, just to be completely transparent, I am not going to show you guys my fourth quarter plan of every single thing I plan to do or number goals and things like that, but I'm just going to kind of walk you through the process of my mindset and then things that I want to pay attention to in the second quarter, and things that you can kind of think of and be prepared for when it comes to your second quarter as well. If you are going to read the 12-week year and go with that approach, I like to do this no matter what, but I write like a master to-do list. And so I have a master to-do list, and that's going to be kind of like broken down week by week, which I did here. And then I also am going to be adding holidays and things to this calendar too. So one thing I do like to do is print out printable calendars online. I do this because I also, of course, have digital ones, and I have a planner and all of the things. But when I do this, I feel like I can kind of get sloppy with it and like really write down all of my thoughts. As you can see, it's pretty empty right now. But so far, I said that my 12-week year is starting this week, and basically today is my first day, and I have some to-dos, and the purpose is to put kind of like a to-do, like 2 to-dos every week, and then that way you're kind of keeping up with your big things that you have to get done, but at the same time, they are not too overwhelming. Like, you have the whole week to do them, but you have to get them done that week. And then I also like to go through this, and I like to write down holidays as well. So on April 20th is Easter, and I'm like, okay, so if the 20th is Easter, then on the 19th, I'm probably going to do an event at my store with the Easter Bunny. If you guys followed me last year, my husband Cody dressed up as the Easter Bunny, and it was just the funniest thing. Like, kids absolutely loved it, and like it just got, you know, some funny content for our store. I don't know if it necessarily increased our sales that day. I'm sure it did in some way, but that was really funny. It was a fun event, and I'll probably do something like that again. So now I just need to write on my Google Calendar. Now I'm looking at May. In May, there are 3 different holidays, Cinco de Mayo, and we'll probably just do something like fun, like either in store, like serve margaritas, or do something online. I don't really know. Maybe we won't do anything. I'm not really sure, but it's just something fun to have on your calendar for that month that you can be like, okay, like, can I like plan a promotion around this? On May 11th, we have Mother's Day. So for Mother's Day last year, I made mama tees, and I made them like so that they were pretty like affordable. Like, I put them on Gildan t-shirts, and they weren't anything like fancy. The decal was pretty small, but I said, I think it was like purchases over 75 get a free mama shirt, and I also made dog mom ones too. So that was such a hit, because even if you weren't a mom, you can give your t-shirt to your mom, your daughter, whoever. And it was just something that was fun that people came into the store, and that was really successful. So I know I want to do that again. So I'm definitely adding the Mother's Day t-shirt to my list. So that way I plan, okay, on a week before, I'm going to make sure I have all the supplies, make them that week, and then that way it is prepared for May 11th. And then May 26th is Memorial Day. I want to look at my calendar because we're typically closed on Mondays, but during this time of the year, we are busier than any other time of the year for us because it is spring break in Florida, and a lot of people come down to Florida this time of year. So this time of year, I'm actually recording this on a Monday. We are open today. I'm just not there, but we open on Mondays as much as we can this time of year. Even though it says we're closed online and everything, we keep our door open. We still get sales in the store, and it kind of allows for our staff to catch up with like a lot of the inventory and stuff that's going on. Anyways, that being said, Memorial Day is obviously on a Monday. What I want to do is look up our sales from that Monday and see if it's worth opening. So it actually looks like we did not open that day at all last year on Memorial Day. So that's interesting to note. So I can try it out this year. I swear we tried it out last year, but maybe we all just had like things going on. I actually think we might have done like a boat day with the staff that day. So if that's the case, then we probably won't open again, just because sometimes making memories are more important than making sales that day. But I will definitely consider opening that day because I don't know how the sales would have been if we did open. So I'm going to kind of leave that as maybe like an open shift on our staff's calendar. And then that way, if someone wants to work that day, they totally can. And then in June, we have Father's Day. So same thing with Mother's Day. I'll kind of come up with a fun promotion for that. So I would definitely say the biggest calendar holidays for the second quarter are Mother's Day, Father's Day, Easter, and Memorial Day. So I'm going to write all of those things down on our calendar and kind of come up with ideas for each of them so that I'm prepared when the time comes. So I am writing all of my crazy notes down on there, and then I'm going to my fourth quarter plan on my Manifest It Babe thing, Google sheet, and whatever I kind of write on here, I'm also going to write on here. It just makes it easier for me to track everything on a weekly basis and be like, okay, like this is coming up, and I can kind of check things off the list here. So holidays are obviously something you want to think of, but another thing you want to think of is you want to look at your sales numbers as well. So you want to look at your sales numbers from last year and see if you could beat those sales numbers this year. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to write down all of my sales numbers from April. What were our sales the whole month of April? What were our sales the whole month of May and June? Maybe write down like weekly numbers as well, so that way I can kind of keep up with them and keep track. I also like to look at different products that sold that time of year. So if you have the app, or you can get the app on Shopify called Delirious Profit. I'm actually not even sure if I've mentioned this in the past, but one of my favorite apps on Shopify is Delirious Profit. It tells you like which vendors are making you the most money, what product types are making you the most money, and you can also go back and look at like different dates. So I can look back and look at April 2024 and see that maxi dresses were our top selling item that month. So I want to make sure in April this year I have even more maxi dresses, because if they were selling last year well in April, they're obviously going to sell well this year in April. And if you have more inventory, you can sell more product. Sometimes I'll actually go back to orders, like I'll go to my orders page on Shopify and filter it from like April 1st of last year to April 30th of last year. And I will like literally go through and click on the orders. And if there's like a certain product I remember selling, and then I see that product like show up a lot, like if it's a certain dress or something like that, I'll see if I could find something similar to that product, as long as it's obviously still trending this year, and see if I can order something similar or even the same product and be like, oh my gosh, those did sell really well for us last year, we should get those again. Another thing that I am focusing on in the fourth quarter, and this, oh my god, the second quarter, I keep saying the fourth quarter, I literally wrote down on my Google sheet fourth quarter plan. It is the second quarter. Okay, second quarter. Another thing I'm focusing on in the second quarter is going to be TikTok Shop, and I'm going to make a whole other video about this, whether it's up before this or after, I don't know, but I'm going to make a whole video on TikTok Shop. And one thing I'm focusing on a lot is growing our TikTok Shop, because I feel like I focus a lot on different marketing channels like Instagram and text messages and email marketing and all of those things. And while all of those help contribute to our sales, one thing I know that can make us a significant amount of sales and increase in sales is TikTok Shop. I do not focus enough on it, and I have it, and so I am going to focus on that in the second quarter, and we'll report back. Okay, so in conclusion, we are looking at the holidays, prepping for events and promotions around those holidays. We are looking at sales numbers from last year and how we can beat those sales numbers, the products that we're selling at this time last year, and if we can get those same type of products or similar ones to make sure that we are getting as much revenue as we possibly can. And then also adding on some business and personal goals. So like I said, I'm focusing a lot on TikTok, and I'm also focusing a lot on my health, my physical health. I have gone through so many different changes in the last few years and months and put on a few extra pounds, and I do not want to feel bad this summer. I want to feel my best. So one of my personal goals is to lose a few pounds and really just focus on my nutrition and my workouts as much as possible, like try out some new workouts and stuff. So that was also a part of my second quarter plan as well. So I don't want to overwhelm myself, but I am doing the 12-week year. So I would highly suggest buying that book. I'll link it in the notes below, and I'm not going to go too far into it because obviously, like I said, I already did kind of go into that, and you could learn more in I think an old video. I'm not sure how well I explained it either, but if you're interested in it, I would just say buy the book, especially like if you're a business owner. Like, it really does focus on growing your business, which I think is so amazing. So go do that, buy that, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching, and I hope this gives you some ideas to plan out your second quarter.